Hey, it's Keegan here. I want to run through a video on the PiPhi bands now and show you a little bit about how they work and why they were developed. So in this chart you can see the bands are applied. I've got the Pi bands in blue and the Phi bands in yellow. And the reason that these were developed was that I was looking for something to basically mimic the concept of Fibonacci extensions, but on a more spectral basis. So something that you don't have to anchor to specific highs and lows, something that is giving us a reading on a constant basis. And the result is the PiPhi bands. So as you can see in this case, they're a little bit like Bollinger Bands or Keltner channels. So we're looking at them as, of course, potential support and resistance. And in this case, it's giving us an indication of a major break of resistance and a continued trend. But in general, we're going to be looking to line them up with patterns or looking at them as a profit target. Now, I've run some backtests on these bands. I haven't run them with harmonic patterns specifically yet, but in general, these bands seem to work the best when you are looking at the Pi bands as an entry point and the Phi as an exit point, a profit target. And if I was going to take one set of bands off altogether, it would be the Phi bands. So I would potentially go in here and just set this to Pi bands. There you go. That cleans it up a little bit. So this is my preferred view most of the time, just because I like to have a minimum of extra signals or potential signals going on. It can get a little bit hectic if you've got too many potential points of support and resistance. So either way, but this is one of my preferred views, is just the Pi bands alone. In this case, you see there's a really nice pattern that lined up with an upper band, and this is exactly what we want to see. This is basically giving us a fluid trend. If you're going to draw a traditional trend line, you could, but this would have broken that trend line. And in this case, we basically have a constant trend line. This is basically a moving trend line that's a little bit more fluid than a straight angle. So that's what I like about the bands. We're not really looking for quite as many breakouts, in my opinion. There definitely are breakouts in these bands, but what I'm typically going to be looking for is the retest after a breakout. So like in this case, we have a great big old breakout, gaps through, and that's not really something you would have considered shorting anyway because we gapped right through it. Continues and just holds to the upper band for a while, holds to the upper band. Then we get this really nice situation where we get a sideways retest. That's always one of my favorite situations. So we trend up here, then we retest the lower band, but it's not even really that much of a correction. It's more of a sideways correction, and we get this nice reaction off the band. And that's good for, more than a few ticks. This definitely isn't a home run move, but this is a really nice response. We get these two long-tailed wicks and about a 50% retracement or so. That looks like a 5-0. So, I just wanted to keep it quick, but this is basically what we're looking at with the PiPhi bands. There are definitely different ways that they could be used. You could look at lining them up with HSI and RSI and things like that, but I just wanted to give you a quick overview. Still training them in the context of the patterns, but this is a tool that I find is handy to have on my chart sometimes. So I hope you found it helpful, and until next time, happy trading.